In the hospital where I work the night shift, there's a room that doesn't exist in the floor plan. I found out about it the night I heard someone call my name from inside. I've been a night nurse for 3 years. The nights are usually quiet, fewer visitors, less noise, fewer doctors running around, but there's another problem. At night, the hospital sounds different. Walls creak from temperature changes. Oxygen systems hiss through the pipes, sometimes far away. A cart rolls on its own. That night I was working on the 3rd floor, the medical ward. All the patients were stable. Documents filled out, the monitors silent, around 2:30 a.m. I went to check the end of the hallway. Some rooms had been renovated. The lights were always dimmer there, the bulbs never at full brightness. I checked the doors one by one. 312 empty, 313 locked, 314 supply closet. Then I saw another door. No number. It wasn't supposed to be there. I stepped closer. An old sign hung on it. Isolation. I frowned. This wing had been closed during the pandemic. Rooms converted to storage. I was about to walk away when I heard it, a sound, soft, like someone sliding across a sheet. I froze, then a voice, barely a whisper. "Help me." My heart raced. I knocked on the door. "This is the night nurse. Do you need help?" Silence. I pressed the handle. The door creaked open. Inside, darkness. Only a small lamp above the bed cast a faint yellow light. A figure lay under the sheets. I stepped closer. "Good evening. How can I help?" The person didn't move. The monitor was off. I leaned down to check for a pulse. At that moment, the figure opened its eyes, wide, unblinking. "Are you the nurse?" It whispered. "Yes." "Are you new?" I nodded. "Good," it said. "Then you don't know yet." A chill ran down my spine. "Don't know what?" It stared at me. "This room isn't for treatment." The air felt heavier. "It's for those who can't be discharged." I stayed silent. "I've been here a long time," it whispered. But they stopped coming. I glanced at the monitor, still off. I looked at the patient's wristband. No name, just a date. 2 years ago, I stepped back. "I'll call the doctor." "Okay?" It grabbed my sleeve, ice cold. "Don't go." It whispered. "They don't like us leaving the room." Cold crept up my throat. "Who are they?" It slowly turned its head toward the door. Then I heard footsteps in the hallway. Slow, deliberate, like someone was checking rooms. The figure lowered its voice to a whisper. "They always come at 3. The steps stopped right outside. The lamp flickered. I turned. A shadow stood still. On the other side of the door, the figure whispered, "If they see you here, you'll stay too." The light flickered again. I blinked. The bed was empty. The hand had vanished from my sleeve. The sheets lay perfectly flat, as if untouched. The monitor was off. The room, empty. I bolted down the hallway. No one there, only the sign on the door, now hanging straight, and it had a number. I checked the floor plan at the desk. No room 317 existed? I asked the head nurse. She paused, then said, "This hallway was shortened after renovations. Only 3 rooms now." I asked about the isolation room. She replied, "It was closed 2 years ago, after a patient died there, and nobody remembered to transfer him. Since then, I never check that end of the corridor after 2 a.m. because sometimes when the lights go out, I see a thin strip of yellow light under the door, and I hear someone whisper softly, "Night nurse, don't go." At 3:17 in the morning, my scanner showed that the box in front of me had been checked 1 minute ago. The problem was, I was the only one in the sector. I froze. At night, the warehouse is always quiet. So quiet you can hear the lights humming above you, the ventilation pushing air through the pipes, your own footsteps echoing between the rows. I've worked here for almost a year, and I know one thing. When a new sound appears, something's wrong. That Thursday, they sent me to Sector D. I'd never worked there before. The manager said, "Just verify the inventory after recount." Sounded simple. But the moment I stepped inside, I felt the cold. Not a draft. Not normal night air. A dead, heavy cold. Like an outside door had been left open somewhere. The lights were dimmer here. Dust floated in the air, turning everything gray. I started scanning. Beep, beep, beep. The scanner was the only bright thing in the aisle. Then it froze. On the screen appeared, "Last checked, 3:17. I looked at my watch, 3:17. My stomach tightened. Inventory checks only happen during the day. At night, no one works here, except me. I lowered the box. That's when I noticed the chair. In the middle of the aisle, plastic, gray, old, it stood there. Like someone had just gotten up from it, I frowned. Leaving furniture in the aisles is strictly forbidden. I pushed it to the wall and went back to work. Beep, beep, beep. 10 minutes passed. I turned around, and the chair was back in the aisle, exactly where it had been before. I stopped breathing. I knew I had moved it. This time I walked toward it slowly, and then I heard it, a sound quiet. Plastic creaking, like someone had just shifted their weight. I spun around, empty, just rows of boxes and shadows between them. The cold felt stronger now. I pressed the radio. "Anyone in Sector D?" Only static answered. I took a step back. Then I heard another sound, a footstep, not mine, soft, but very close. I turned. No one. The light above the aisle flickered. For a moment the chair vanished into darkness. When the light came back, it was closer to me. I didn't go near it again. I stepped back instead. That's when I saw the floor. The dust in the warehouse is thin, like flour. You can see footprints clearly. They stretched along the aisle. Slow, distinct. They stopped at the chair and didn't continue, like someone had walked up to it and simply disappeared. I knew I didn't want to stay there anymore. I turned and moved quickly toward the exit. My footsteps echoed too loudly. I was almost out of the sector when the light flickered again, and for that moment I saw it. Someone was sitting in the chair, a dark shape. Still, no face. I blinked. The light stabilized. The chair was empty. I didn't go back. I left the sector and texted my manager that I'd finish it tomorrow. He replied fast, "Sector D is closed." I texted back, "Why?" He answered, "Because last year a night shift worker died there during his shift." I never entered Sector D again, but sometimes when I pass by the gate I look inside, and I still see that same plastic chair standing in the middle of the aisle. exactly where I left it, like it's still waiting for someone to sit down. At 2:46 a.m., I received an alarm from the old school building. The problem was, I was the only security guard on the floor. I've been a night guard for a year and a half. Usually, the nights are quiet. Sometimes the wind whispers through the windows. Sometimes doors creak as if someone passes by. But that night, it felt different, something tangible, like the school itself was watching me. I turned on my flashlight and started patrolling the long, empty hallway. Flickering lights cast long shadows. Every step echoed off the cold concrete walls. My chest tightened with tension. The alarm showed the gym doors were open. I knew I had locked them before starting my patrol. I approached slowly. The gym was empty, just ordinary equipment, and the shadows of the machines moving as if on their own. I sighed and turned back to the corridor, and then I heard it, footsteps, slow, deliberate, like someone was following me, but the hallway was empty. I froze. The flashlight swung around, searching for the source. Nothing, only silence and my own heartbeat. I continued, trying not to make noise. The footsteps repeated, now closer. I turned, still empty. I quickly reached the stairs to the second floor. The security office was nearby, but I decided to check another corridor. It was colder here. The air felt heavier. I could smell dust and old paint clearly. Then the flashlight flickered. In its light, I saw it. A small black shadow moving along the wall. A blink later, gone. I tried to calm myself. It's just shadows and light. Nothing else. I approached one classroom where the alarm kept flashing. The door was locked. I pressed the handle. It opened easily. Inside, empty. Only footprints on the floor. Wet, leading toward the door, but no one around. I stepped back and pressed my radio button. All clear. I muttered to myself. Then I heard a whisper, "Night guard." I turned. No one. My heart raced. I moved faster. And then I heard footsteps. Right behind me. I spun around. Empty. The shadows on the walls seemed longer, moving faster than I was walking, like someone was passing through the walls. I rushed to the main corridor and checked the surveillance cameras. Monitors showed empty hallways. Only one camera showed a silhouette on the stairs. Still, I zoomed in. The silhouette vanished. I went down the stairs. Empty. No traces. I continued down another corridor, trying to reach the exit. Every window was open. I knew I had locked them before the night started. Someone was in this building with me, but I couldn't see them. The flickering lights blinked exactly when I passed under them. Every sound seemed closer than it should be. I ran to the exit, and as the doors closed, I heard the final whisper, "Don't stay." I didn't look back, and I never patrolled that building alone at night again.